I'm John Soard. I'm the National Sales Manager for Woodland Park. Woodland Park's a park model company that focuses only on park model construction in the RV capital of the country, actually the world, in Elkhart, Indiana. We do build strictly park models. We're not a mobile home company. We're not a small RV company. We're strictly a park model company. And I'll kind of go over some of the features of what we have in this model that we're standing in right now. This is a Euroville model. So I'll start with what we do with the construction. We have a 2x6 floor. The floor is what we call a transverse joist, which means the joists run side to side. They go from one side to the other, and they're sitting on 10-inch steel I-beams. And that's the chassis of this trailer. It has the axles and everything underneath of it. And below the chassis, or in the chassis, and kind of below the floor, is an underbelly that runs across and drops completely down, and that's where your heat duct is. It's all insulated, it's fully insulated underbelly, and that's where your heat duct runs. Most all of our water lines that go in the unit stay above everything stays above the insulation, but if it goes in the floor, it's going to be right next to that heat duct. So that's if you're using it in the wintertime, that's to make it so that it's not going to be as prone to freezing. Having a water line so it freeze. So the floor itself is a 2x6 floor. One of the features that Woodland Park does that you're not going to find in virtually anybody else's park model is on the sides of the floors we use a double perimeter joist, and that means it's double 2x6s. So your sidewall is actually fully sitting on lumber, 2x6s, and that's a feature that Woodland Park does that we haven't seen anybody else copy that, and it's something that we do. Our sidewalls are all 2x4s. In some of the wider models that we build, we go to a 14 wide model, we will do a 2x6 wall. In doing that, we're going to be able to get a heavier insulation. We're an R13 insulation in our 2x4 wall, and our truss rafters that we use up on the roof, the truss rafters allow us to do an R21 insulation. So, recap the insulation and construction: 2x6 floors, 2x4 walls, truss rafter, insulation R21 in the floor, and R13 in the walls, and R21 in the roof. Very well insulated trailer. Another feature are the windows that we use. We use a solid vinyl thermopane window, and I'll walk over here. What this does is, being a solid vinyl window, you're not going to have a condensation issue like you would with a metal window. If you're in a typical RV, you'll see that the frames and so forth are metal. And what that will mean is you will have, if you're using it in the wintertime, you will have condensation. With the vinyl window, you won't have that. With the double pane window, you won't have that either. That's a very important feature. It's a very unique thing to what we do here at Woodland Park, but it's also something that most of your housing construction has nowadays. So that's another feature that we have. Some of the other things that we do when we're talking about the floor, and you've seen the floor earlier, this floor is actually individual pieces of PVC tile. It's not a rolled out linoleum floor. The nice thing about that versus a rolled out linoleum floor is, if you ever gouge this, which this is pretty tough to gouge, but if you do, it's very easy to replace. When you buy a Woodland Park, you will actually have a few pieces of this tile shipped along with the trailer. So if you damage this, you'll actually be able just to pull the old one up and put a new one down. It's a very simple process. It's standard. It's not anything that you have to pay extra for in a Woodland Park. That's just the way we do it. Some of the other features, now that I'm kind of going along here, some of the other features that this particular model has in it. Now this is one of Peter's here at Country Gardens. This is one of his better selling models. This one actually features a tray ceiling, and if you look at the tray ceiling, it's got the lights put up into this thing. We've actually went this year, it's not on this, but if you look over to the side here, we've actually got halogen lights in this, and for 2019, going into this new model year, we'll be using LED lights like that are over here on the side. we'll be switching the light fixtures to an LED. Much more efficient. It's a situation where instead of using the incandescent lights or the halogen lights, which are going to spend a little more energy, we're going to be using LEDs, which are going to be much more efficient. This one also has, and I failed to say anything about this, also has the ceiling fan in it. The optional ceiling fan that we put in is a remote controlled ceiling fan. It's not your typical turn the switch on, pull the little flippers and all this. It's actually a remote control. You'll have a remote control that you can set speeds, turn your lights on, and it's much easier to use versus trying to reach up and grab a hold of the little things that you would pull down on. Also in this one we put in the faucet. The faucet is an upgrade faucet. It's a drop down. Everybody loves to have one of these. This also has a microwave in it. Typically, in a lot of our models, this microwave also serves as your range hood. In this particular unit, because it is the Eurovilla, we actually have a stainless steel range hood directly over the range. So this microwave is just simply a microwave, and the range hood is over in this. Typically, in a lot of our models, we'll be putting in the range hood microwave directly over top of the range. This model, it's just a different layout, a different situation. Also on this is the tile backsplash, and we put this in. We hand lay all of this tile, and we put all of the grout and everything on it. What Peter likes to do is I guess jazz it up a little bit. He puts in the double white line in this, and it adds a unique look. We don't do a lot of this, but since he started doing this, and we've had pictures of it and showing it to various customers, it started picking up a little bit of popularity. So we've been doing that in some of the models as well. It is definitely an upgrade, but it is worth putting that upgrade into your models. You'll also notice we're using a white cabinet up top, and we're using a gray cabinet down below. That's another unique feature. Woodland Park has the ability at our size and our volume to be able to customize. And by doing this is something that you're not going to get in a high volume manufacturer, because a lot of times when they're ordering their cabinets and they're bringing their cabinets in, they're bringing it all in the same color. We have the ability to do things differently just because that's what we do. Woodland Park is a high-end custom park model builder. So, and also this, because of the layout and because of what this is featuring a lot of our stainless steel appliances. You'll have the refrigerator, the microwave, and the stove is all stainless steel appliances. What else? We have dimmers. If you look here, we've got dimmers on the tray ceiling. We also feature some things like that where you can do a few options to be able to make it a little bit more convenient, just to get your mood lighting and things like that, as well as wine glass holders. This Eurovilla also features a bunk room. What Peter likes to do is put in the larger bunk down below. This is a 54-inch bunk with another bunk up top. And the way he likes to bring this one in, it has the taller ceiling in this area, so you get a lot more headroom in this one. You'll notice the ladder that you would climb up to get up to the upper bunk. That also will fold up and put away, so it's not a hindrance to the lower bunk. As we go back through here, you'll notice on this side we've got on this one we've got the upright furnace on this one. Sometimes as well in this one we don't have it, but sometimes you can put washers and dryers and things like that in here. The rear door that we put on this is a house type rear door, and it actually gives you the light, as the upper part is light and the bottom part would be a solid door. Coming into the bathroom, one-piece fiberglass tub and shower surround. And once again, this model they've brought the upper dormers all the way back, so you have a much higher ceiling and you have a lot of natural light coming into this. This unit will also feature the porcelain lav bowl versus the typical in an RV typical plastic lav bowl. This will be a porcelain, and a lot of room in this model. Just when you walk into this bathroom, you've got a lot of room to actually, you've got what we would call elbow room. So the ability to move around and really utilize that space. Followed by, as we go into this one, we go into the bedroom. This model also features the overhead cabinet over top of the bed, and that has the lighting underneath of it. That lighting is a dimmable, has a dimmer on it, so it's a dimmable type of lighting. Very handy when you're laying in bed and getting ready to go to sleep to have a light on if you're wanting to read or something like that. And then up over top of the chest over here would be where a TV would sit, and give you the ability to watch TV in bed too. But a lot of cabinetry in this model. When you, I'll open this for you so you can see the amount of cabinets that you have in this. A lot of storage, because when you're camping and you come up here for the weekend, you want some place to put all your clothes. You don't want to have to take them all back home. If you have the ability to put it into a nice closet, that's very important. Peter's been a dealer of Woodland Parks. Here at Country Gardens, has been a dealer of Woodland Parks since 2006. He knows what we're capable of doing. So he can direct a customer, he can work with a customer to get them really what it is that they're wanting. So when he comes to us with a special build, typically there's not a lot of questions. I mean, we have to sit down and do some engineering and put things together for him. But when he comes to us, it's a lot better knowing from his end, knowing that he knows what we can do. And so the experience that he's got with our company is very, very helpful. The fact now that he's expanding to the other campgrounds that he owns, he believes that what our park model is, being the high end, and we are strictly a high end manufacturer, high end custom, that we'll be able to service his customers' needs in the new park up at Whistle Bear, and as well as continue to get him models for his needs that he'll have and his customers' needs up at the landings as well. So that long-term relationship that you build with dealerships is very important. He knows how he can trust our company, and we know that we can trust him. Woodland Park, trying to go back to the history, Woodland Park started in 1983. So this is going to be our 35th anniversary. And Ernie and Edna, it was started by a family of Yoders. Ernie and Edna are the original owners and still are owners of the company. And they started out, the best way to describe it, they started out as kids. They were Amish, and they grew out of the Amish church, is where they came from. And throughout their history then, in 1983, they started the company Woodland Park. And Ernie's vision really for Woodland Park, and we actually have a video where he's explaining what he wanted to do. He wanted to build a good high-end park model, and that's what he set out to do. That's what the company was founded on. And he's never been one to go at building a low end or building a low priced unit. He's one of those guys that this is really what we want to do. This is what my passion is, to build a high-end park model, to build the best one out there. And that's how we built the company. I used to work for this company back in 1999. I left the company, went to another company, and I finally came back this last year. And I've been back with the company. I've always loved the Yoders, and they've always done a very good job. It's always, the one thing that was very continuous about this company was the focus on high end and not compromising and not going for the price, not going to be able to try to capture a bigger piece of the market by lowering the price and by compromising the build that we have in our park models. And that's something that I've always respected Ernie for doing. And in saying all of that, it goes back to saying that this is really truly the high end of the park model industry. There's other companies that try to copy, there's other companies that try to emulate what we do, there's others that kind of have fallen off the pathway that we've been on. And Woodland Park's been on that high end path for now 35 years, and we continue to do very well. And we align ourselves with dealerships like Peter here at Country Gardens, who really want their customers to get something that's the best. And then also from a service standpoint, a company that will stand behind the product that they build. So our relationship with Peter here at Country Gardens is that kind of a solid family relationship, and we really appreciate everything he does for us, and hope to continue to do a good job for him as he is pushing forward with his other parks that he's started up and is putting our product into.